Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Our big focus this hour, a three-member panel of senior judges has recommended the removal of Justice Yashwant Varma, the former Delhi High Court judge at whose residence piles of burnt 500 rupee notes were found in March. The Supreme Court appointed panel interviewed 55 witnesses and recorded Justice Varma's statement and submitted a 64-page report which was first sent to the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The panel investigating the recovery of a large stash of cash from the residence of Justice Yashwant Varma concluded that there is sufficient substance in the allegations against him. The committee found eyewitness accounts and visual evidence of a significant quantity of banknotes, some of them half burnt, at the judge's Delhi home, and also flagged his unnatural conduct, including his failure to report the incident. In fact, the report also confirms that half-burnt currency notes were in fact seen while firefighters were putting out the blaze that started late March 14th and spread to the storeroom in question. The report has said as many as 10 witnesses examined by the panel acknowledged having seen burnt or half-burnt currency notes. Furthermore, the committee said access to the storeroom where the fire broke out and the cash was found was controlled exclusively by Justice Varma and his family. It also noted that the room was later cleaned out and the notes disappeared. The inquiry has undeniably established that a substantial amount of cash was recovered from his premises. Joining us at this point is Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, former Supreme Court judge, for his perspective on this big story. Justice Kaul, welcome. Thank you for being with us today on NewsX.
Thank you.
My first question to you is, what is your first reaction, sir, to this probe conclusion, which I read out and which I'm sure you must have seen earlier in the day, which says that there was serious misconduct?
The report has come in public domain only today. I have quickly browsed through it. But see, they have recorded evidence, there's no doubt about it. There are certain conclusions which have been drawn on the basis of some presumptions. Let's understand this is not a criminal trial they have undertaken. But I think some conclusions, like because he did not protest to go back to Allahabad, etc., some adverse conclusions have to be drawn. I wouldn't be able to, support those. But they have gone on the basis that the preponderance of possibilities remain. That he was aware of these currency notes. The problematic issue is that nobody other than the oral testimony of what are perceived to be currency notes, not a single note of them is available for any analysis. Why the police did not take them into it, why did not seal the room, I don't know. But these kind of things raise some questions, I think, because they have far-reaching consequences for the judge concerned.
Yes. Justice Kaul, also, I have to ask you how much credit is due to former Chief Justice Khanna and the current CJI for the transparent manner, the way the details were put in public domain?
So, well, I do appreciate the fact that things have been kept in public domain, because this is something which was affecting the judiciary as a whole, I think. And a lot of criticism came in public domain, and, people also made stories out of stories. If you see the kind of figures which were being bandied around, certainly which was not there even from the video or otherwise, and I have spoken earlier on public domain on this issue, saying, look, there are some burning notes which are seen in a corner, which is what the report also says. In a right corner of the room, the police and the fire brigade people saw some notes.
Yes.
Quantum is unknown, not a single note analyzed. This is the problems I envisage.
Yes. Now, I have to ask you this question, which many are also discussing today. What happens next? What is the procedure for the removal of a judge?
So this will now, it is for the parliament. It comes into their domain, because the government is debating to introduce a motion for impeachment. It has to carry forward a certain number of MPs.
Yes.
They're seeking to build a consensus. One of the issues which has been cropping up is that, is this report which is to be relied upon for purposes of the proceedings which will take place? In my respectful view, that is not so. This is a report which is a preliminary report to assist the Chief Justice in making an opinion whether something further is to be done or not. That report undoubtedly is adverse. There is, of course, a grievance of the judge that he hardly got any time to respond to the report, which was in a few hours. That's a different matter. But the Chief Justice, having forwarded the report to the government, the three-member inquiry, which is envisaged for in pursuance to the proceedings which will take place if they are introduced, is something different, I believe. So I don't think this can be a replacement for the committee to be formed for purposes of impeachment.
But also, how much does this damage the credibility of his rulings now, henceforth, if it is suggested that there was indeed corruption happening?
See, this is the issue. Is it corruption happening? Even nobody has been able to establish that these are, even with some iota, that this is kind of money received for some purposes of any judicial proceedings. Whether, if there is money, whose money is it? If the money is there, is it for some real estate consideration or not? These are all speculative ideas. Please understand that the judge, in a period of over a decade, in both Allahabad and Delhi, carried a very, very good and impeccable reputation. Also, his performance was rated very high. And Delhi is a place where it is very difficult to hide. Delhi High Court is one of the high courts which is always in the glare of the Supreme Court and the public, because it's the capital of the country. For an outsider to come here and make an impact is not easy. He did make that impact, but for this episode now coming, there's been never any talk of any integrity issues or performance issues of the judge concerned.
Yes, that it is. However, of course, this report today would, of course, be quite a setback, and that's quite a minor, adjective that I'll use definitely. But the courts, Sanjay Kaul, are so important to the running of our country. What more can be now done to ensure that rogue actions do not demean the judiciary as a whole?
See, even here, I tend to agree with you, it has had a damaging effect. Now, whether at some stage the judge still considers putting in his papers is his call. There is a view which has been held that it may be better, even if he feels this is somewhat unjustified, in the larger interest of the system, to maybe put in his papers. But that's his call. See, the judiciary works in a particular domain, in a particular manner. This episode has come to light, but nobody has been able to find out, really, if you ask me, whose money it was, where did it come from, what was its purposes. That kind of a thing has not happened in this scenario. But it is enough to certainly damage the judge. I do believe that his future in the judiciary would be quite problematic, given the scenario as it is, irrespective of what happens in the proceeding which will now take place.
Indeed. So the onus on him now to step down. Otherwise, you believe the ball is now in the ambit of Parliament, and they are the ones who will take the decision, perhaps as early as the monsoon session itself.
Yes, Parliament has to take a decision, but they have to constitute a committee, in my view.
Okay.
If they have to sit within the three-member committee to be constituted by the Parliament is different from this three-member committee. He may get maybe a better opportunity if he thinks there. Maybe he would like to give some explanations for it. Ideally, he may be looking to, I'm speculating, he may be looking to some cleansing of his whatever has happened and yet step down. That's a possibility which I think I feel is the most probable.
All right, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with your perspective on this big story.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.